Hi everyone, this is Kenzie. Full disclosure, I got a code for this game for the free from the devs themselves as a result of genuine fortunate circumstance. While that won't really affect what I have to say about the game, I feel like this is the perfect time to practice for all of those Raid Shadow Legends ads I'll be getting at some point. Now, Proteus. What do I think? Before I get into all of that, let me set the stage for the rest of this thing. I am not the biggest fan out there. The most recent game in the series I played was Eternal, and I found the gameplay loop to be a bit repetitive and the shooting galleries to be a bit long for my taste. I say this because Proteus is very much so inspired by the older iterations of Doom and other games like it from the id Software era of retro shooters. Now, do I like those? Yeah. Duke 3D is one of my favorite shooters of all time. I own Quake Champions and I played a bit of Unreal here and there. I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff, and oh my goodness, I can't even hide it at this point. Proteus is the goatiest. Proteus is an early access game that was released in November of last year, and considering the reputation that early access games have, it's reasonable to assume that an early access game will have problems that keep it out of being a full release. But nah girl, this game has apparently had a dev life of 3 years and counting, so they've had plenty of time to iron this out, and honestly, I already have an ungodly amount of praise, so let's start with that menu. The game is dummy responsive. Like if I wanted to speedrun a menu, I would get my first PB with this game. No small loading instances, the game gets you right into the action. Even the loading screen I had only lasted 7 seconds before I was playing the first level. The game makes an amazing first impression. I love me some well-optimized game maneuverability, and this game kills it. With a shotgun. Now, I will say that because I got the game for free, and because the game is in early access, that won't keep me from ripping into the game if I need to, but honestly, the game just doesn't let me do that. The first steps in this game are arguably the best, because this is a very immersive design right here. The graphics, I have to talk about too, because oh my goodness, how did they do this? Proteus is like retro, realistic, pixelated, modernized 3D, pre-rendered but not really, it's damn good looking. It strikes this perfect, and I mean perfect, balance between retro pixelation reminiscent of the FPSs of old and a realistic AAA game, say like, I don't know, the new Doom games? Now some would call this derivative, and while I can see the reasoning for that, the style here is more than just a copy of a bigger property or bit biting. This is ye olde inspiration that allows for a perfect representation of what the absolute middle ground looks like. Translation for those not experienced in filling out an essay for word count, I really like this, okay? Not to mention that when you see dead bodies on the ground, they are always realistically positioned in relation to the angle you're looking at them at. Like, oh my goodness, this game really gets me. Now, I know that my video structure is a little bit different from the average because I focus on things that really don't matter to people, or I don't really focus on the most important things first. And I'm saying that because we haven't even gotten to the gameplay yet. But don't worry, I like that too. The walking speed is fast. The gunplay is fast. The moment-to-moment problem solving is fast. The loading is fast. My metabolism is fast. This game literally speeds up time, I swear. I almost couldn't find the words to describe my feelings as I was faced with 2 hands and was told to punch, but I can find them. At this point, I just couldn't wait to get to the first shooting gallery. That was going to be my personal benchmark for whether I truly like this game or not, and it works. Like, it works well. They lasted just long enough to where I didn't feel bogged down with enemies, but at the same time, I was so satisfied by the carnage I was committing that I could probably do it all day if it was possible. I love the blood effects in this game. Shoot a couple bullets and you could paint the entirety of Rome in a day. And you know what they say about Rome, but Proteus guy here has just enough firepower to probably demolish it within at least a week. And the music though? Look, okay, all of the tracks perfectly complement the action and settles down when it needs to. I can't begin to explain how immersive this type of thing is. Trust me, it just works. And the praise isn't just related to the music, but goodness, the sound is so good too. Like, come on, is there anything this game doesn't do right? Come on, I'm really trying to look here, guys, I promise. Now, all of that praise was from playing the game on keyboard and mouse for the first few days I've had the game. And the game is basically perfect if you have that, but there are some people who don't have really good mouse and keyboard to play this game with. And that's the thing that Prodeus doesn't just knock out of the park, which really isn't a Prodeus problem, but it's just an unfortunate state of events. Playing this game on controller is more Nodius than Prodeus, I'm sorry for that joke. As many shooters as I have played in my life on controllers, these Doom types just aren't built for them. The mouse and keyboard setup was obviously the focus. Everything that I did on keyboard felt like the perfect marriage of control and freedom. On controller, no matter what I changed, it just never felt quite right. And not to mention, holding down the stick to sprint was just not very Tanoshi. Got in the way of the experience more than I would have liked. And yes, I turned on sprint toggle to see if that would help, and it just felt like it was just stuck in sprint, and I kept overshooting my target several times. It was just not the preferred method of controlling for me. I'm sure someone could fix it to their liking, but keyboard and mouse is literally just the dopiest way to play. Okay, I'll stop. Other than that though, this is like easily fixable by just being on keyboard and mouse, or just taking the time to fine-tune the controller settings to your liking. It's not like the controller doesn't work or anything, it just could feel better. And honestly, that doesn't get in the way of enjoying this game at all. There's so many weapons and secrets to find, which I barely ever found, but the amount of hidden stuff in this levels that weren't considered official secrets were abundant. It felt really cool finding auto maps and large armor and health pickups. The dopamine rush was constant through every level because of this, and it isn't a feeling that I get out of games that much anymore. Except for Project Diva FCs. But yeah, that's all I got for this work of bloody art. Once again, thanks to the dev team for Prodeus. The game rocks my goddamn socks off, and as of now, I'm gonna be looking for updates. This game is really good. It deserves every amount of praise it can get. It's early access, it's pretty cheap right now. It's less than most AAA games with the same level of quality, and I love this game. This game is so good, and while not a complete spotless masterpiece, it's still a masterpiece. Just off of its content alone, it's so good. But till my next video comes out, this has been Kenzie. Aliciization Licorice is coming next, I promise, I'm always working, never forget that. But till then, stay hydrated, stay safe, and most importantly, stay cute, you lovely Kako demons.